validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa, I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Very interesting Sunday. Actually got some rest today. I can tell you that. We have had a lot of things going on this week. I want to confirm that we did touch base with Sarah over the weekend, and she had confirmed for Thursday. So all of our shows for the rest of the week are going to be tagging Thursday's show, because we're going to have a live guest on Thursday's show for the dating coach. She's an expert in providing guys with dating advice. So we're going to have a lot of that going on, where she would be able to answer any questions that you guys might have throughout the show. And she's going to be giving us a little bit of insight about her 12-week program and any services that she also provides as a dating coach. In addition to that, we've got some interesting information for tomorrow, where we're going to be talking about how politics impacts our revenue flow. Tuesday, we're going to be talking about other ways that we can invest and raise capital, because you have to know of ways to make money so that you can make more money, so that you can have extra money to invest. If you're living at 90% of your income, and that is the cheapest your budget will be, since you can't reduce your expenses, you can increase your revenue, your income. And by doing so, that will give you a larger quantity of discretionary funds that will allow you to invest. So on Tuesdays, we typically talk about different things to invest in or different ways to create businesses that doesn't require much capital to start it up and can develop into a large revenue stream over time. Now, depending on what it is and what you like to do will determine whether or not these ideas are ones that are for you. But there are plenty of ways that we can make money for us. There are plenty of ways where we can work for ourselves while we're making money, make money for us. And there's a lot of different ways that we can diversify our ability to get out of the workforce where we are working for somebody else and get into an entrepreneurship where we are working for ourselves. So Wednesday, capitalizing off of Tuesday, we give you other countries that you can invest in, offshore accounts, places where you can live cheaper than America. If you have made your company or your source of income a portable one, meaning that you can do it like by phone or you can do it by computer or whatever the case may be, websites, e-commerce, whatever, where you are not required to be stationary to make a profit, then you can travel to other countries. You can still run your business from overseas, where you can have an American-based company that you are running from the comfort of the inside of your house in, say, Cambodia. And then you could take your U.S. revenue and you can transfer that to your Cambodia bank account and then be able to live in a lifestyle that is 30% the cost of America, which would then by default give you a better standard of living, because the cost of living in other countries are far cheaper. So you would not need a millionaire status in America in order to live a millionaire lifestyle in Eastern culture. In fact, as it stands, it probably would go to say that something to the magnitude of 10%, so like $150,000, $250,000, would be perceived as millionaire status in some of these third world countries. So if you went there with investor opportunities, because we did give you a list of countries that would allow you to buy a visa by investing into the country, and by buying that visa, you would end up with residency and stuff to that effect, citizenship or something to that effect, where you would be able to live there for extended periods of time, if not forever. And that dual passport scenario gives you the ability to not be constrained to some of the requirements of the U.S. government. As Donald Trump said before, you can stay, you can go. If you go, you can come back if you want to. He doesn't really care, you know. But for the sake of maximizing wealth, if you are going to make larger quantities of money from a market that is highly liquidated, and then you're going to utilize that capital in a different market that has less cost of making your money more efficient, then you will find yourself in a better situation. So your $75,000 a year income would go well in a country that has $8,000 to $12,000 a year for middle to upper middle class lifestyle, as opposed to having $30,000 or $50,000 a year be the bottom half of poverty in America. So these are things to think about. Now, today, we're supposed to be doing questions and comments from the fans. So, special shout out to those of you that are watching us from Twitter and those of you that's watching us from Twitch. You guys see these links in the comment section. And if you guys click those links, approve the mic, approve the camera, it'll bring you onto the show in real time. And then you'll be able to say what you want to say, try to keep it appropriate. All three of y'all are linked together here. So if your comments come into the comment section and they are reasonably appropriate, I will put your comments up onto the screen recently, and maybe give you a little bit of a jingle intro, because we have a whole album exclusive to the podcast for this and that, and we like to promo the music while giving you guys a little bit of recognition for popping into the channel. So exploring all options here. I also want to give a special shout out to alanito.music before we get started, because he provided us with the soundtracks. So special shout out to him and Danny from Denmark for promoting it. So really appreciate everybody from putting it all together so that we can make this podcast an international one. Now, since we're going to be dealing with questions and comments from the fans, you guys will be able to hear the stuff that I see, and then we'll all be able to comment on them, and we'll take our debates from there. And then remember, like and subscribe as you drop in. Special shout out to Bayside. I know you're listening. Usman, special shout out to you as well for coming through. And we're waiting on Mr. Satellite to dive in. I do still have to make those highlight reels for him. Have not done it yet, but probably going to be trying to get to it over the next couple days, because I found a blanket of availability over the next few days to try to do some video edits. So that should be happening soon. Then the next time that after I complete the video and he has done his spontaneous pop in, we will see his hopefully I can do a good job with this Titantron style scenario where he will get a nice welcome for coming in. And beyond that, let's go. Let's just get right into it. Normally, because I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to talk about this, because there has been the scam going around. There people are talking about Walmart just recently settling, and they're like, oh yeah, sign up here to get your money. That Walmart settlement happened like a year ago, so it didn't it's not something relevant anymore. Everybody who was supposed to get paid already got paid. So if you see this scam talking about some Walmart settlement, sign up here to get your cut, that's a lie. Walmart already paid out everybody who's going to get paid out. They got paid out last year. So that's a dead topic. Don't pay no attention to that scam. And then there was another thing that I was debating on whether or not to talk about during the draft. One of the coach's kid prank called one of the players, told them they didn't get the cut when they actually did get the cut, and that kind of messed up the draft. And the man was supposed to be like a top 5 draft pick, and then he ended up getting picked like 104 or some stuff like that. So it really messed up the whole thing. But the draft is done. The guy did still get signed. He didn't get signed with the team that he was originally going to get signed for. So I'm not sure how this impacts the player's career, but I know that there is questions about the coach's career being taken out. Now, Usman, special shout out. I told you guys Usman was going to be here. Usman is here. And like I said, we show some love for our guys for diving in. Usman says, how can I help you, sir? Xander says, I want a blazer that shows I'm book smart and a shirt and tie that shows I know how to get down too. Yeah, that's technically how it works. This one is actually a bit on the extra side, and reason being is because this is one of the ones that I carry with me when I am wearing my body armor and all of the other ammunition that I carry with me, because I have more guns than John Wick. So we come out there and make you do what it do. But that's a good one. I really appreciate it. And we're going to go ahead and get started with our questions and comments for the show for today. So let's go ahead and tee this off. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you come through. Make sure that we can hear this.
At 51 years old, I've been seeing a Polish girl the same age for 3 months. And tonight, she told me she wouldn't be coming to mine this weekend, and she wanted to end things. The reason she gave me was that I am too nice, which is a first for me. She was in an abusive marriage, and she said recently she's turned apprehensive and is just waiting for me to lose my temper and attack her. I have never and would never do anything like this. It's depressing to hear she's felt like this, but I genuinely can't think of what I could have done to make her comfortable with me, even if I had known she felt that way. I'm annoyed as I've just booked a long weekend away for the two of us at the end of the month. Guess I'll go by myself.
Damn right. Okay, so just gonna be real with you, bro. Like, we can't Special shout out to Carl. Carl's in here tonight. Oh, y'all, guess what? So I got to tell y'all while y'all are here. Sarah's going to be here on Thursday. So if you guys got time, give your mom a hug and a kiss for me, Carl. If you guys got time, pop in on Thursday. We're going to start on time at 10 o'clock because she's supposed to be here at 10 o'clock. And if y'all got questions, she's a dating coach and she's going to be providing answers to most of our questions on the show. So I really appreciate you popping in. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Hopefully the family is doing well. So since we got a guest star coming in on Thursday, I know you guys don't usually fall in on Thursday, but if y'all fall in on Thursday, that's going to be a very eventful day because we're actually going to do that one in the 16:9 format, and then we're going to be knocking it back with questions and answers from the fans, and she's going to tell us why she does what she does, and get some insight on her, and then any information on her program. So if you guys are interested on that, you just let us know on Thursday. But I've already scheduled it so you see it in the reel for Thursday. And as we fill up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you'll see that, Thursday's already set today. So hit that notification button to remind yourself to pop in. Now, for the gentleman that got dumped by the girl who has an issue from the past, there is literally nothing you can do about past trauma. When you are in a relationship that is a rebound from a toxic relationship, you are walking on eggshells, and that is not healthy for you. I have never recommended anybody my mother is out of a coma, and my son is doing good. My dad is paneled for the nursing home. Thanks for asking. So wait, your mom's in the hospital, your brother is out of a coma, your son is doing good, and your dad is getting ready to go into the nursing home. Well, once they reach a certain age, they probably should go into a nursing home. But in my family, the elderly stay around, typically on my shoulders until their last breath. It is, I can understand it is a big chore. You can call it a blessing to be able to spend their last days with them, but when they were in their prime and they were more active and outgoing and capable, it felt a lot better in those days than now when they're just not. So I know that a lot of families like to, before the family member deteriorates too much and loses whatever pride or respect that the family had for them, that they like send them away. And, that's the thing to do. But, it really depends on the family. So I'm glad to hear that for the most part, things are doing well considering circumstances. And it's good to hear that your brother is recovering. So that's a celebration in and of itself. And just make sure that you hang tight to your son, because it's going to be a roller coaster with the family health. And also pay attention to any hereditary health concerns that might be visible in your son. You want to make sure that he's aware so that he doesn't make any mistakes in life that could compromise his ability to stay healthy. So that's always another concern. But back to the gentleman whose girl dumped him. Fella. Yeah. So since it's never recommended by me, at least, to get involved with somebody who just recently got out of a toxic relationship, once she explained to you, you're welcome. Once she explained to you that she was fearing for her safety subconsciously based on past traumas, not based on your actions, it was your cue to exit stage right. So like crip walk right up on out of there and just don't even stress it. Regardless of how you feel about the situation, you could pay for her therapy and it still won't make it better. So it is not a good idea for you to stay inside of a situation. And the fact is that because she has been in negative experiences where somebody has gotten mad and started yelling at her and hitting her and stuff to that effect, and probably been doing it for an extended period of time, if in the event that you get angry at her for any reason, frustrated at all, if you were to elevate your voice or just like get beat red in the face from anger and not say anything, it is going to trigger her to have flashbacks of past experiences. So there's literally nothing you can do. The frustration you're going to develop from trying to have all the patience in the world is going to piss you off. And as soon as you react, I told you so is going to be the thing. Exactly. She's gonna freak out. And what's worse is not only is she going to freak out, instinctively she might call the police on you, blow the situation out of proportion. You're going to be sitting in the back of a police car trying to explain the situation. And with so many actual abusive men downplaying the situation to, we were just talking, I didn't do anything. You could literally have just been talking and she was overreacting. And unless you're recording everything that's happening in your house, you won't have any proof that you're telling the truth. Extremely damaged, and it is unhealthy. It is one of those situations where she needs to stay by herself until she can recover from her past, and she should not allow herself to be involved in a relationship with anyone until she is capable of handling that relationship without retaliation from past traumas. So, fella, while it might have hurt your heart, you dodged a bullet. Now, you got a vacation lined up. Hopefully, while you're on that vacation, you find somebody that's not damaged. That would be the best thing for you. Let's check into this next comment we got going on here.
I'm 20 and I don't know how much longer I can keep going like this. I left my parents' house when I was 16 and somehow managed to finish high school on my own. I live alone now in the capital, and honestly, life is suffocating. I work full-time and earn €900 a month. My rent is €500, and with common costs, bills, and phone, it quickly jumps to €700. That leaves me with €200 for food, transport, and just existing. Most months, by the last week, I'm eating plain bread and drinking coffee just to keep going. I'm constantly exhausted, stressed, and starting to feel completely hopeless. My parents can't help financially or emotionally. I have 3 siblings and they're struggling too. So I don't even feel like I can lean on anyone. I can't afford clothes or anything. I am not social at all because I can't even afford a drink that's €5 to €8. I've been seriously considering escorting or finding a sugar daddy just to make ends meet. I never thought I'd get to this point, but I'm here. If anyone knows of trustworthy agencies in Europe or how to find a stable, supportive man, please reach out. I don't need judgment. Any advice?
Yeah.
Thank you if you took the time to read this. I
Oh
just
my
needed to be honest somewhere.
Okay, now he said instead of a woman going to another woman who are single, they should reach out and read the Bible to heal, but they end up with bad advice. Well, one of the things that we have come to find out is that there are a lot more toxic women out there than there are non-toxic women that are out there when it comes to single women. All of the good women are, not all of them, most of the good women are taken or focused on their careers. They're not actually active in the dating pool. So while maybe you could say like 10 or 20% of women might be toxic, those are the ones that are in the dating pool actively. And then the rest of the women are not active in the dating pool, or they're married, or they're focusing on their stuff, their families and everything to that effect. Now, the toxic women will continue to encourage good women to make bad choices. And then once those good women make bad choices, then society will expect that good woman to be a toxic woman like the other women. But that's just because she's following bad advice. Not too many women have a positive mentor to guide them in a positive direction towards being a partner in a relationship. So there are a lot of scenarios where if that would have been 2 guys talking, a guy would have encouraged another guy to do something more positive for the outcome instead of sabotaging or destroying the relationship and then starting over. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If anybody is giving you the advice to destroy what you have built and start over without putting in the effort to try to fix it, then that is terrible advice. Exactly. And Carl says it correctly, because they're jealous that you have a man and they don't. And that ultimately means that those single people giving you single advice to go be single with them, they're just trying to collect extra single people. Because if that person who's telling you to ditch your man and go be single had the opportunity to go and date your man after you broke up with your man, she would marry your man. Just like some of the girls that's been on the show before, talking about how their best friend is now married to their ex-boyfriend kind of situation. These girls will chop up your relationship so that she can take over. The fact is that the competition is steep, especially the older women get, because the value of women depreciate over time, which also means that while women have more pickings in their younger years, they have less opportunities in their older years, which makes it harder for them to find somebody, if they haven't already found somebody, by the time they get to those middle ages. So yeah, it's a challenge. And then after 20 or 30 years of being defiant and rebellious, they're in a position where they aren't willing to cooperate, which makes them less desirable. And then they don't understand why they're having such a hard time. A lot of people are going to blame the guys for that, but no, guys already have their own list of reasons why they're single, with their bad decisions of chasing after girls that are willing to put out but not willing to be partners. And the guys are paying for that instead of finding somebody of value. So, I mean, once the woman starts deciding that she's going to settle down, but she's going to settle down on her terms, she's not willing to be a partner. That's when she has sabotaged her ability to find happiness, because the men are still looking for a woman that's going to be a partner, regardless of how old she is or whether or not she can bear children. He's looking for a partner. He's not looking for a payday. He's not looking for a cash out. He's looking for a partner. So the women have to change their mentalities on that. But with this gentleman talking about how he's in a different country, apparently, because they're dealing with euros over there, and he's not making enough money to get by, and he's thinking about, doing some adult escort work in order to make some extra money on the side. I don't think that's a good idea. I understand that there's a lot of money involved in that type of work, but I mean, I would never do something that is devaluing or degrading to my integrity as a person in order to make $1. I don't care how hard money is. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to do something that is unethical or immoral, because I mean, when you're financially desperate, you might break a few laws to get a buck. But I'm not going to disgrace my integrity as a man to make a buck. Like, they got those guys that are doing those videos on social media talking about, like, if you were getting paid a certain quantity of money per stroke, how many back shots would you take? Like, that question that's gone around. And it's funny because these guys that are supposed to be masculine men, that are supposed to be super heterosexual men, are considering the dollar amount to be compromised. If you have a dollar amount that will compromise you, then your integrity isn't that solid. Just it doesn't matter why you're doing that. The fact that you're willing to do that, it's not a good look. Now, I understand money is tight. Like your boy says, well, out of the thing, he really only has like $200, and that $200 doesn't last him the whole month. He's bread and water. Only thing I can tell you, bud, get a second job. That's what the Americans do. If you're making $900 on one job and that ain't enough, and that job ain't giving you overtime, my dude, go get you a second job. Then you're making $900 on two jobs. And if you're making $900 on two jobs, that's $1,800. If your standard of living is inside of that first $900, then that second $900 should be able to cover the spread. You should be able to eat good, have you some decent transportation, still have full $500 left over. So when he gave me the sob story about how he had left his house when he was 15, 16 years old. So most of us did 30 years ago. Most of us left the house as teenagers and went and lived out on our own. A lot of us was sending money back home to take care of family because there were siblings there that wasn't being taken care of. We still found a way to get our own place. We still found a way to get a good enough job to pay for everything. And some of us even still found a way to get to college. So, just because you had a hard start doesn't mean that you can't have a financial success in the back end. You just have to find another way. But depending on one job to get you the money that you need to cover all of your financial strife, that doesn't happen. You have to build that up. Some people can say, oh, yeah, I can get a good job. Yeah, because you've got years of experience on a job that didn't pay you good money. You've had years of internship on a job that didn't pay you at all. You had mentorship programs where you during college would show up to places and learn how to do this from the people who already knew how to do this, so that when you got out of college, you went somewhere and now you're able to use your knowledge and your skill set from the last 5 or 10 years of doing this for little or nothing. Now you can ask for top dollar because you've been doing it for a while. You've got your degrees and you're overqualified. So yeah, now you can find you a damn good job. But just to say, I'm going to walk out of the door on any given day of the week and I'm going to walk into a room and I'm going to say, hey, give me a damn good job that's going to pay for like this middle class, upper middle class lifestyle. The average American doesn't have that opportunity. Actually, about 65 or 70% of us don't have that opportunity. And that's one of the reasons why there's so many of us trying to figure out how we're going to get by as technology has AI replacing humanoid workers in the blue collar workforce. All the manual labor jobs are slowly but surely transitioning over to non-humanoid employees. So it gives you a different dynamic to look at. But yeah, I can see when people are financially challenged, they're not interested in dating as much, because especially when it's the man's responsibility to buy stuff in most countries, it's less likely that the man is going to be qualified to court the woman in order to get the woman to join on to his scenario. But if he can't afford to pay for himself, how is he going to afford to pay for her and him? And if she comes with kids, how is he going to pay for those too? He would still have to, again, get more jobs. So a lot of times men take themselves off the market because they're not financially stable enough to support a second person. And then women wonder why certain men that are considered good men that are not in relationships at whatever age that they're met. Well, that's because the man himself knew that he wasn't financially valuable for a woman's desires based on the majority of women wanting the same thing. And he didn't have that. So instead of him trying and getting rejected, a lot of men will just not try and focus on building their wealth until they can get close enough to it to find somebody who will say yes. So very interesting dynamic. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe and use those reaction buttons as we go through here.
I can't tell if I'm just super insecure or if my boyfriend is actually up to no good. I am 21 and have never been the type to care about small, petty things like an Instagram follower, or if a girl looks at him who's 22 a certain way, or anything like that. Shit. As long as he doesn't entertain them and tells them he isn't interested and that he is a girlfriend. I don't think that's a crazy ask, as I would do the same for him. I do literally everything for this man. But that's besides the point, I suppose. Recently, I got curious. Don't dig if you don't want to find anything. I know. And decided to look through the people he follows on Instagram. It started off as me seeing Ice Spice, jokingly texting him asking if he liked her music and brushing it off because she's a celebrity. But the further I went down, the more women I saw. I wouldn't care if it was just a normal page and it happened to be his friend's girlfriend or something, as I didn't care for the few girls he followed that fell under that category, but the rest weren't normal pages. He follows girls that post thirst traps with little to no clothes on, along with their spam accounts, and he's actively in the likes of these pictures and videos. Girls that look way better than me, MO. But that's where the issue stands. Do I have the right to be upset about this, or is it just insecurity I've developed within, and I just need to deal with it on my own? I've considered getting a therapist multiple times because I honestly to God just love this man and believe with all my might that he loves me too. So why can't I believe that he truly loves me and my body for what it is just because of a few followers? Anytime I see any of the women he follows, I get sick to my stomach and immediately scan them for features they have that I don't. And I try so hard to understand why he'd even want to be looking at other women if he loves me as much as he says. Someone, please give me some advice on what to do, or even how to feel here. I don't want to disturb his peace and ask him about it if it really should just be brushed off because it's a few Instagram accounts.
So you should mind your own dang business when it comes down to that, because you're going through his phone, searching all his profiles and stuff. I don't recommend that for anyone. It is a violation of privacy. And women are going to say, yeah, you should go through his phone, make sure he's not cheating. If you are doing everything that you're supposed to do as his woman, he's not going to cheat on you. But the same thing, you got to think about this. Guys are going to look, even if they're not going to engage. Equivalent to adult videos, like they're going to have that would be considered like soft porn or something like that, where the girls are half naked in bathing suits and stuff, sometimes topless, whatever. You know, they might have the occasional back shot or something like that that the guy is interested in, the attire that entertains his secret desires and whatnot. But that's entertainment. That's not him making comments to these females about, you know, hooking up with them later or meeting them in the neighborhood or him flying to them. You just see him liking a photo. Just because a man likes a photo doesn't mean that the man is going to chase this girl down and try to connect with her. It doesn't matter if they have it. The girls that are putting up adult content on social media, especially social media platforms that do not readily support adult content, are going to have alternate accounts, because once they put up too much provocative stuff, the account gets banned and it's not allowed to be reinstilled. So they put up 3 or 4 accounts at a time and make sure that as they collect followers on their primary account, that they encourage those followers to go to their secondary account and follow their secondary account as well. Then when they get banned on their primary account, then they go live on their secondary account, notify everybody, hey, I'm over here now because they got me again. They got things that's called like Facebook jail, where they ban you for like 30 days or something like that because of some content that you put up, and then they unban your account. And that's one of the things that they will hit you with a lot of the times. Special shout out to Bayside. He's back again. Really appreciate him. So we've had Usman and Bayside and Carl show up tonight, and it was very entertaining for these guys to come through. So Bayside, I was just telling everybody a while ago that Sarah's going to be here on Thursday. So if you got time, we should be starting off at 10 o'clock on the dot. Oh, okay, you're listening. Oh, that's great. Fantastic. So, you know, slide in on Thursday. I want to make sure each one of my guys that comes in, I want to make sure that y'all know, because she's giving advice to guys about dating. I know you're married, but, you know, you might want to ask an interesting question, reasonably appropriately, though, that gives her the ability to open mic the situation. So we're going to be doing a lot of encouragement to get you guys to show up on Thursday's show. Carl said that's why you need a God-fearing man to begin with. That's why there should always be trust in a relationship. He is right. I agree that you should have trust in a relationship regardless of what your partner is doing. You should have the kind of trust in your partner where your partner is not doing anything that you would not do. And that is the fullest extent of the trust that I have for the people that I keep closest to me, is that I expect you to do the things that I would do in that situation, or not do anything that I would not do in that exact same situation. Loyalty is only tested in the midst of betrayal. So if you give the individual the opportunity to mess you over and they don't, that reinforces your trust. But if you give them the opportunity to be trusted and they mess you over, then they've lost your trust. Now, women have a higher level of insecurity because women want to be trusted unconditionally, but their insecurities prevent them from trusting unconditionally. So men have to walk on eggshells to prove their loyalty to women, to be GPS tracked by women, to call in and check in and rush home and not spare a moment to prove to her that he is loyal. Now, this exact same behavior, if it was expected by a man from a woman, she would not be okay with that. She would feel like that is oppressive and overbearing and controlling. Now, I have not figured out why women want to stalk their men to make sure that the man is not moving on to better horizons, but women are not willing to check in with their men and report their whereabouts at all times so that their man can protect them and provide for them on the go. And likewise, why do they not have the unconditional trust in their men? Because if she wouldn't have been scrolling through his phone, she would have never found that. So my advice to this lady is ignore it. Ignore it, because none of the profiles that he had connected to on social media had conversations in them. He was just looking at pictures of girls and hitting the like button. Back in 1994, 1996, 1983, 1975, a married man, a happily married man, would have a collection of Hustler, Playboy magazines, and a lot of other adult magazines that it was like centerfold, 3 pages fold out of some chick, hopefully in a bathing suit, but a lot of times extremely naked, like full frontal, no censorship. And that used to be magazines back in the day. So in today's world on social media, if you substitute those magazines with these Instagram profiles, these TikTok profiles, these YouTube profiles of these girls advertising their bodies on the channel for clicks, it's the same thing. He doesn't necessarily have to be interested in getting involved with the girl to be able to entertain a personal fantasy outside of infidelity. So I would say leave it be, but go get you a therapist. You thought about getting a therapist. I would have encouraged you to get one a long time ago. You and the other chick need to both get the same therapist so that therapist has too much work to do, because that is not healthy behavior for y'all to be doing by stalking your men and mistreating your men and then wondering why you can't be in a healthy relationship. Because a lot of times the toxicity from your own subconscious fears causes the relationship to be toxic, self-fulfilling prophecies. So yeah, I would say leave it alone. Don't worry about it. You're overreacting. It is nothing. Now he starts having communications with these females and trying to link up with them and stuff like that, then that's a different story. But if he's just looking at a couple photos, I'd leave it alone. Carl says you play with fire and you will get burnt. That is true. Now, on the other hand, I know women are going to say, well, I would prefer my man not be looking at other women on social media, high level of insecurity. But ladies, how many of y'all are willing to delete your social media account just because you're in a relationship? Like delete all of your followers, not just like log off. I mean, like completely delete your entire account. Delete it, uninstall the app, clear the cache, just shut down the whole thing and just go off the grid for your 1 to 5 year dating life before, you know what I'm saying? Most women won't do it. Most women won't do it. And because you won't do it, it makes no sense for you to say, well, I would prefer that he not look at other women, because other women those same women would more often than not be offended that you would ask them to turn off their social media profile. And what's worse is she is parading herself around for hundreds of thousands of men, millions of men. Like TikTok got 1.9 million people watching it, right? So at least 50% of that got to be men. So you're looking at like 950,000 men, 950,000 men roughly staring at your girl on social media with her day-by-day posts, and she's not willing to take down her account, but she wants you to stop looking at other girls. Well, if you're being looked at by other dudes, why can't I look at other girls? Well, what's up? Because a man doesn't, just like a woman doesn't want her man to look at other women, a man doesn't want his woman to be looked at by other men. So yeah, why not shut the whole situation down? Bayside says Playboy magazines were normal at men's barbershops when I was younger. My point. Hustler was a little bit more uncensored, but Playboy magazines with the centerfold, like you be sitting there waiting on your hair to get cut, and you sitting there flipping through. Some of the times you be reading the bio, you be trying to see what this naked girl got going on in her life, and then okay, and you be knowing them by name, like you be knowing these females by name, and you could talk to your homeboys about, because everybody had the book, everybody, and it was a monthly subscription, so they was giving you 20 or 30 page magazine full of naked women in it every month. And y'all will be able to talk about, she's in another centerfold and this, that, and the third. Get the whole Playboy calendar and all this stuff. And the wives didn't care about that back in the day. So why are women getting upset about social media today? Now, Carl says the best test is to ask your partner if you could borrow her phone because yours died. But if she doesn't, it's a red flag. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And the racist jokes. Oh, yeah, that's true too. Oh, but Carl, you know what? You know what's funny though? Now, women try that stunt on men, and it's terrible because the man doesn't have nothing to hide. So he will unlock his phone and hand it to his girl. And then what she will do is she won't just check and see what's been going on during the current relationship. She will scroll through his history and pull up some stuff that happened 2 years before she found him. They've been dating for the last 8 months. She's looking through text messages from 8 years ago because he hasn't purged his messages. It's just become data space in the backlogs of the memory of his cell phone. She's got to literally spend 15 minutes scrolling down. That's how far she's scrolling down to go and find some chick that he used to talk to that he don't talk to no more, because you can see the last text message was like 3 years ago, but because some of the words that he was using with her to express how he feels about her is some of the words that he used with you 3-4 years later. Do you feel the same way about me that you felt about her? This ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, what do you mean? Hey, the swap the phone is ruining relationships instantly. Instantly. Oh, bro. Okay, so here's the thing. I've been looking at that, and you know what's funny about that swap the phone thing is that the chicks are the ones that's getting busted. It ain't the fellas. You be sitting over here thinking, they gonna bust, and dude be acting funny, right? But the girl got to sit there for 30 minutes deleting stuff before she hand the phone over. Well, sweetheart, if you got to delete one thing before you give me this phone, then it's done, because whatever it is that you don't want me to see is the reason why we shouldn't be together. Because if you got nothing, if you want me to be transparent, I should have nothing to hide, and you should have nothing to hide too. So if you got something to hide, then we don't got trust between each other. Because If I'm supposed to be able to trust you enough to show you where I hid the body, you should be able to show me what text message you just deleted. So I ain't trying to get down with that. I ain't trying to get down with that. But these females, when they doing the trust thing, but see, I'm a different kind of individual though, because I don't just have the swap the phones. I got a couple phones. You feel me? I got I got quite a few. I got a collection of phones. Right? Running business, I got 12 phone numbers. I have alternative scenarios where I just found out that they got some numbers that still exist under my name that are still active from like 2006. So I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was still there. But I run businesses and everything, not trying to justify it. And I try to use a different phone for each thing that I do to differentiate when the damn phone rings. So when one phone rings and I hear that phone and I don't want to deal with that kind of business, and I hear another phone ring and I hear that ringer and I might want to answer that call, then I got another ringer that'll ching one time and I'm like, all right, now I'll pick up that one. And you know, there'll be times where I let all of them ring, and I don't feel like today's my day off. I'm not gonna talk to nobody's phone. But the thing is, like you said, Carl, some women are sneaky. They try to be sneaky, but they got more of a guilty conscience than what we do. Our conscience of guilt will stop us from performing the action. A lot of the times, the women's conscience of guilt only occurs after they did something and they know that they should not have done. They know that they're not supposed to be doing it while they're doing it. And then once they've done it and it's over with, now they're wondering, well, will I get caught? What will he find out? You know, I should tell him, da, 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 da. And I don't know, man. Usher wouldn't have said nothing if he wouldn't have had them confessions if the girl didn't call him and say he was pregnant. So, you know, and you seen with Kelly, they buried him in the desert. So he probably shouldn't say nothing. If it was a one and done, don't say nothing and don't do it again. But I mean, if it's bothering you that much, if you end up pregnant or got an STD, now you got to say something. But if you stepped out of line and it is what it is, then don't do it no more. Go to a confessional, repent. But to ruin your man's life with that, because what kind of decisions is he gonna make now? Like and please don't explain to him the details about it, because now he can picture it and you understand the intimacy is going to be dead now, because every time he tries to be romantic with you, he's going to be thinking about how you allowed another man to do the same thing. And do you think that this man is going to want to put his mouth where another man's junk has been? I'm going to say most guys won't, not subconsciously. Now, I know a lot of women are going to say, well, you know, I done put my mouth on to plenty of them, but you still kiss me. Well, that's not what we're thinking about at the time. But if you was the kind of girl to tell me that you had 1,000 body counts and you ain't had no problem with taking it to the jaws, then I would not be talking about trying to date you, because your mouth got more mileage than the rest of you. And I'm not trying to subconsciously put my mouth on that. That's an issue. Bayside said women are much better at cheating than men are. Of course. Women are better liars than men. So men have this nobility sense that is hard to break. Carl says, as a Christian, God-fearing man, your eyes are your window to your soul. And one thing I can tell you, Carl, is that it's hard to tell whether or not my soul is pure or not, because these prescription glasses are on all the time. But if they ever were to come off, whatever's about to happen is not going to be popular. It's not going to be popular. But I can say though that you know, I've had a lot of women come to me, oh, let me see your eyes, and they'll try to take my glasses off, and I'm like, nah, that's okay. Specifically because my glasses are expensive, and a lot of them who reach for my glasses, I'm like, no, these glasses are they cost more than you do. You know what I'm saying? They're nah. And some women are like, oh, I can't believe you said that. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, these bad boys almost $1,000 a piece, and you are not $1,000. So because a $200, $300 dinner, I done got that. $200 and $300 dinner, not gonna replace these. So nah. And all just to see my eyes for you to drop them and break them, and then you're not gonna have $1,000 to replace these glasses. So no, don't touch them. You want to see my eyes? My eyes are exclusively left for the woman that live in my house, because that's probably gonna be the only time you're gonna see me without my glasses on, is in a dark room. Because if it's a well-lit room like this one, you're gonna see these glasses on. You're not gonna be sitting there eyeballing me. And some people say, oh well, you hide your eyes because you're not an honest person and you're trying to keep secrets and this, that, and third. And no, some people do, because they have the ability to not tell you the truth. But I could care less about telling you the truth, because I have nothing to lose about this situation, everything to gain from the situation. And if I have nothing to gain in this situation, like he said, you're already paying for the day. You ain't lying. Already paying for it. And then she want to come and touch the glasses. Nah, I mean, I got to charge him commission on that. I was like, nah, if you want to touch these glasses, I'm gonna need to see a security deposit. You're right. It's like, okay, so like when we be in a club and some guys like to use a hat of some kind as an accessory, and these girls think that it's cute to take a man's hat off his head and wear his hat. Bitch, you ain't my property. You is not supposed to be snatching my hat off my head. How would you feel if I took your bra off and put it on top of my head? Like, ooh, like that's not. You would be offended by that. You don't take another person's clothes off of a person without their permission, because like you could catch a case, I could catch a case. Or like I could catch a case because of you, but I could catch a case because of you, because one, if I snatch your clothes off, I would catch a case. But two, if you snatch my clothes off, I'm going to catch a case, because you're not going to snatch my stuff. Ike said no. Bobby Brown said no. Ray Rice said no. OJ Simpson got tired of saying no. And let me just tell you, the situation don't end well. When a man say don't touch it, don't touch it. You got so many females out here carrying men's cars and stuff, hitting the car with baseball bats, and child, women ain't got no respect for a man's personal space. But a man must have respect for a woman's personal space, because if he don't, he will be ostracized by society. Carl said, I learned at this African church, you never touch a woman's hair. Oh yeah, bro, they don't even like to let their hair get wet. Scalp be dirtier than the bit, boy. They don't even like their hair to get wet. They'll literally like fight you over that. Now they'll take their hair out and throw it on the ground so that they can get into a fist fight like World Star Bad Girls Club or something like that. But they don't want to let their man touch their hair and oh, your hair looks nice, and touch their hair. Now you let some of these other women, these Caucasian women, the Asian women and stuff like that, you, instead of holding her hand, you could just pick her hair up and hold her hair and sniff her hair or kiss her hair, whatever you want to do, instead of doing it to the rest of her, and she'll blush and everything like that, like, oh my God, he kissed my hair. It's proxy, he kissed me, but touch a sister's braids, boy, she done bull whipped you. she just smacked you with him like Blair from WWE. Big, gigantic, long Brazilian something or other, because her hair ain't naturally that long. Her hair like 4 inches, 5 inches long, and the rest of that is just horse hair. Yeah, she done shipped in from another country and then stitched it all together, got it going all the way down her back, knowing darn with touching the flow. She got to wrap it around her arm like Melina from Mortal Kombat. And no, there ain't no sister hair that dang long. They put too many chemicals in their hair for their hair to be that dang long. All it is a ponytail that's stapled to the rest of her scalp. Dang shit. He said, you dead. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going in. Because like, yeah, they be trying to make it seem like it's something serious. It's serious, but it's not serious the way they make it seem like it's serious. And men are more attracted to the women that are natural anyway. So if you had you a little 2-3 inch bob or some shit, that's all you had. If you had you a little bit of something that was like, you know, braided to the front or something like that, looking like Pocahontas or something like that, we'd be fine with that. You know, if you got your hair touching your shoulder, we okay with all that. But you got it all the way down your butt crack, getting tangled up in your kneecaps. For what? To me, oh, I like women with really long hair. Do we really? Because don't no man really want to pay like $75 for shampoo every week to wash all that shit. And nobody really wants to admit this, but you get the female hair wet and it be smelling like wet dog. We don't want to deal with that in the bed neither. So do we really want all that extra locks going down, like wrapped all the way around your arm we ain't trying to go down that path. Nah, that's just too much. That's just too much. You know, you got guys like me that got a goatee. This is it. If it start going way down here, like, no, you got to cut that shit. You know, it's too long. Because what's that gonna do besides clog up the sinks? All that extra hair, what's it gonna do besides clog up the sinks? Then we gotta buy a plumber every other month. You know, we ain't trying to deal with all that. So these females be chasing the wrong ideas, and then they believe that it's the man's fault because the man didn't understand why she was chasing the wrong idea. It's not for me to decide whether or not you should be chasing that idea. It's for me to analyze what the hell you did after you chased that idea. Because if your decision-making process went south after you went exploring through the grown man phone, finding females' photos on Instagram on his dang phone, and you think about how you still got a Facebook account, a Tinder account, a Instagram, a Snapchat, a TikTok account, a Twitter account, all these, and that's not even the Bumble, the Rumble, the all of the other accounts that these females be having, and you sitting over here trying to make it seem like dude swiping right on a few photos while he's still in a relationship with you is an issue. Females need to go sit down somewhere. They got more important things in life than a man saying that a photo look cute. Because back before the internet, we used to be outside more often, and the men used to be able to say that the woman walking by looked cute. And now you're going to tell me that if I was in real life, I can't say that she looks attractive? If she looks appropriately attractive? Like, really causing some problems, because now if you set the par, then ladies, you got to abide by the same par. So that means that the same way that you don't want your man to communicate with the opposite sex at all ever, you would actually be putting yourself in a position to practice what you preach and not communicate with the opposite sex at all ever. Now, if the man set that precedent, then a woman would say he's overly controlling and abusive. So why set that situation on your man? Oh, you're free to talk to whoever you want to talk to. You got work boyfriends and work husbands and this, that, and the third. You can do all the stuff that you want to do. You got guys DMing you, and it's the guys in your neighborhood DMing you. Oh, they're just friends. But your boyfriend can't do that with no female, bro. That's a double standard. I'm not saying that it should be done in a relationship either way. All I'm saying is that if you're setting a standard that he can't do it, you shouldn't be doing it either. That's my thing. Uniformity is what I'm about. Let's check on this next one.
I am 27 right now, and during this time I was talking to a girl from Hinge for about a week, and we were supposed to go out on Saturday. Yesterday, we FaceTimed, and not gonna lie, it was a tad awkward. We chatted for a bit and said goodnight. This morning she canceled because she didn't really feel the chemistry, which, not gonna lie, I didn't really feel it either. So on one hand, yeah, I'm glad I didn't waste my time and money on a bunk date. On the other hand, this happens all the time. Like a lot. We match, we text for a week, or two we meet in person, or FaceTime, and it falls flat. It's starting to make me question my self-worth. That I'm just defective as a person, or there's something glaringly wrong with me that I can't see. It almost feels like I have a sign written on my forehead saying, "Stay clear of this person." I don't quite think it's my looks because I get dates and people I'm not related to say I'm good looking. It doesn't help that it takes me a bit to get comfortable with new people, so my full personality doesn't flourish at first. It kind of makes me wonder if I'm really that unlovable or defective. I always wanted to find my person or have fun getting to know people, but this is making me sad and depressed. I'm worried I'll eternally be the friend guy and that I'll never be seen in a romantic light. I don't know what to expect from strangers on the internet. I'm either gonna get generic advice, told to love yourself, bro, or have my character subtly or explicitly attacked. But some moral support would be nice, or something that will stop me from getting drunk this evening.
Well, make sure that you like and subscribe. I'm getting drunk with you this evening.
She was in an abusive marriage, and she said recently she's turned
small, petty things like an
social at all.
Hold on,
and he's actively, it really should just be
wrong with me that I can't see. It almost feels like I'll never be seen in a
of the house.
Love yourself, bro.
There we go.
Or have my character subtly
double
or
back.
explicitly attacked.
Button and I hit
but
the
some
start
moral
over
support
like,
would be nice, or something that will stop me from getting drunk this evening.
All right, so like I was just about to tell you that I'm getting drunk this evening. I'm gonna give you some moral support, but I'm not gonna attack your character, but I'm not gonna tell you to love your character either, bro, because I'm gonna tell you right now the reason why the females is not looking at you the way you want them to look at you is because the ones that you're looking at is looking at your environment, and they're assuming that you don't got enough money to do the things that they want to do, so they're walking away because you might have a good personality, you might be a nice guy, but they're not looking for a nice guy. They're looking for financial stability where they don't have to try hard. Unfortunately, depending on your age, more women are going to walk away from you because you don't have enough money. That's not fair, because a good man, I told you guys yesterday for 5 hours, we did a whole show yesterday, few 100,000 people, we were able to talk and discuss how, let's be real, a woman can get with a broke dude and make themselves financially successful. So I don't understand why women walk away from a good man who has good character, who would be a best fit for her emotionally, a good companion for her. And the only thing that he would need is cooperative assistance from her to be the financial fit that she needs as well. If the man is lacking finances, he could be a perfect 10 everywhere else. If he is lacking finances, he is a 0 in the eyes of most modern women in Western America. So if your money is tight, you got more bills and you got income, you got more financial obligations than you've got availability. You know, you've got child support, you've got alimony, you've got to take care of a family member, you've got family members living in your house. You know, all of these things are putting you in a compromised situation that a lot of women do not want to be involved in here in America. Now, in other countries where the women are more family oriented, they have no problem with living with you and your family. They have no problem with aiding you in your responsibilities to take care of your family. So if you got kids that you got to take care of or something to that effect, they will help you take care of your kids with the other woman, because those women were taught to take care of family, and that kid is your kid, which makes that kid your family, and she's your family. So your kid is her family. So she will help you do for her kid. Those are the good ones. Oh, definitely, Carl. I'm going to see you. Make sure that you slide by on Thursday if you can't come by any other day of the week. But I definitely appreciate you coming through. Thank you so much. Give it up for Carl, everybody. Make sure that y'all hitting those reaction buttons. So my advice would be, bro, is to keep your eyes open for availability for another female. Keep working on your finances. Don't wait. Since you got a lot of women that are walking away from you in the beginning stages of dating, don't spend a lot of money on the first date. Try to keep it as cheap as possible, because it takes a guy 25 to 40 dates in a year or more to find one girl that'll say yes to a follow-up, right? With that being said, it's important for us as men to be fiscally responsible about our investments in the dating platforms. If you're getting they have some dating platforms like Christian Filipino that they'll actually call you and try to set you up with a chick But I mean, if you can't see her on a daily basis in person, like what kind of relationship can you really have? Long distance relationships are doable, but they are not manageable, because if you started the relationship overseas and you don't have the means to get overseas to bring closeness to the relationship, you're basically establishing a pen pal scenario. And after being around one another or communicating with one another online for a period of time, you will be expected to fulfill financial duties as a man, which now you're mailing her money, Western Unioning the girl money to help her with her financial problems, where she's now only talking to you because you send her money. It's not a feasible situation. You want to be able to date girls that you have access to. So reasonable access to. They don't have to necessarily be in your neighborhood, but they should be within reasonable driving distance. You should not have to travel half a day to get to this girl. You should not have to catch a plane every time you want to see her, unless you are working in her city and you live in another city and you have to fly to her city anyway for work. That would be the only time that flying back and forth for a new relationship makes sense. Now, if this is a long-standing girlfriend, of course, you're maintaining a relationship. You'll fly across the world for an existing relationship, to maintain an existing relationship. But to start one up, nah. You want to save your money as much as possible and invest as much as possible so that you can use the interest from the principal to aid you in your dating life. So while the women aren't giving you the time of day, take the money from the date, invest it into some stock. Every time, take the money from the date, invest it in some stock. Instead of wasting a bunch of money on entertaining these girls, you take $349 out and put it on some stock, and take the other $5 that you would have put on that date and put it on that date. Cup of coffee, that's all we get. Two glasses of water, some lemon, some sugar. I need a lot of lemons, not like one slice lemon. I need like 3 or 4 whole lemons, some water, some ice, and like 80 sugar packs. We're gonna make us some Kool-Aid at this table real quick for free. We about to get down with the get down real quick. You feel me? We're not about to waste a bunch of money on. Then we're gonna do the endless bread that's complimentary, the bottomless salad. That we go hit that up, and then if we buy a meal, validation, now I validate myself. There goes Max. Those who know, Max the Poser is here. Finally, Max the Poser has shown. Hey, what's going on for you, Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found, and then we'll move on to the next. Potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. So let's touch base on the next one.
I have been with my wife for 11 years. We have 3 daughters, 9, 4, and 2. I am a stay-at-home dad with no job or any hobbies outside of the house. My wife came home and told me she cheated on me with a coworker. What are my options for this?
Shit. Okay, before I answer his question, let's answer Max's question. So Max is asking me, should he get a property in Egypt? Yes. We covered a show on buying real estate in Egypt, and there are a lot of condos and actually some very beautiful high-rise houses that are they've got the what do they call those, horizon pools with the waterfall thing and all this other stuff that's reasonably affordable. I would encourage you to talk to an agent out there and try to pick you up some because they actually got it going at a good deal right about now. They got some luxurious ones. They have some real estate investment companies out there that you can invest in that will also manage the property for you. So all you got to do is just put your money down and let them run it, and you'll turn a profit off of it. So yeah, of course. I know some people think that Egypt is full of sand and pyramids, but no, they actually have suburban homes in Egypt, nice suburban homes like the ones you see in Hollywood, California. So yeah, I would say go invest in Egypt. Now, my man said that he'd been married for 7 years and his wife had cheated on him. Well, brother, you can forgive her. You'll never look at her the same sense, but you can forgive her. Don't forgive her for the sake of the children. If you're going to forgive her, you got to forgive her for yourself, because if you forgive her for the sake of the children, you're only going to harbor resentment. This has to be a forgive, but don't forget kind of situation. Don't make it a habit kind of situation. I know some people say tit for tat. So since she cheated on you, you should be allowed to cheat on her. I don't condone that, because I believe that will further degrade the relationship, because while her conscience might be scarred by her guilt from cheating, the fact is that her lack of trust in you will be thrown out the window if you cheat. So it is still a double standard. You're not going to be able to cheat on her and make it right. You're not going to feel comfortable with cheating on her. And then at the same time, you might not even feel comfortable being around her. Now, you guys are going to end up getting some therapy with this. You guys are going to have to work through your issues, what caused her to cheat, because it wasn't just her ability to hook up with this guy on the job. Something you're not doing that leads to her deciding to cheat, because I've said this before, and usually when I say this, it's in regards to the women, but it's the same thing. Rather you're a man or a woman, if you were cheated on, your partner is missing something out of the relationship that they weren't getting from you. And that's one of the reasons why when they started getting it from somebody else, that led to a physical interaction with somebody else. So whatever it is that you're not doing, you need to talk that over with your wife, find out what's going on, and then try to rectify that so that you don't have a history of affairs. If you're not okay with the cheating, you're not able to recover from the cheating scenario, then my recommendation to you from that perspective is then to just break up with the girl, because get a divorce, because if you're not going to be the same, you don't want to be fussing and arguing and fighting and cursing each other out in front of the children. So since you're not in a situation where the children are being negatively impacted, I would recommend work it out. But, that's clearly up to you. But since she already admitted to the cheating, your option is divorce her or stay with her. That's like your two options. That's your two appropriate options, because inappropriate options is like, I'm not going to say illegal stuff, but outside of illegal stuff, cheat on her in return. And I'm going to tell you that those are negatives. You want to stick to the positives. You either stay with her and work it out, or you divorce her because you can't handle it. But in whatever decision that you make, it is not about the children. You are not staying with her for the sake of the children, because you guys will still resent each. You're going to resent her because she cheated, and she's going to resent you for not forgiving her for doing it. Now, keep in mind, if you guys stay together for the sake of the children 10 or 20 years down the line, there will come a time where you might actually cheat on her too. Now, if that does happen, there's your past. She's not going to be able to get mad at it. You forgave her when she cheated on you. She should forgive you when you cheated on her. Y'all should just get past it and keep it moving. But don't be that guy that because she slept with one guy one time, that you're going to sleep with one woman multiple times. You'd be like, well, you cheated on me. Her response is, it was one time. And it was one person, just multiple times. It's not the same. It's just chill out with that. All right, so let's go ahead and touch base with the next one.
I'm not actively dating at the moment, but I do have a question for you all. I am 35 years old, and I feel so uncomfortable about my dates paying for me. Even if it's just a coffee, I feel like I really owe them. I usually pay my way or get intensely fierce about paying, LOL. It's a me thing, maybe. Is this off-putting for my dates? The dates 30-40M, whom I've paid my way, never eventuate into much. I could also be overthinking this. I'm Australian. The men are very relaxed, and usually whoever organizes the date pays. It's not an expectation for them to pay.
Well, that's in Australia. In America, it is an expectation for men to pay. I believe that you should be ashamed of yourself for feeling that way. Because not because you feel like you should not have to pay, but because you should not feel like a man is owed anything because he paid for you. No woman should feel that way. But I believe that in the interest of fairness, men are rejected more often than women, and men are the one that are paying for the dates. I believe that it would be fair for the women to he said, looks like someone was trying to get a kiss, Xander. Yeah, you seen that, huh? He just come out of nowhere, just lay his head on my shoulder, looking for attention. I'm looking at him like, bro, you tripping. He just come out of nowhere. But yeah, so the dynamic is that so many men are out there, 25, 40 plus more dates than the average woman, and the man has to pay for every first date. I strongly believe that it's not cohesive to say that we should go Dutch. I believe that if the man is going to offer to pay for the first date and there is a definite second date, you can let the man pay for the first date, you pay for the second date. If you are not interested in the man, reimburse him for his time by you paying for the first date, since there will not be a second date. But you should not feel obligated because the man paid for the first date, because that technically is his generosity towards you, because he has found some type of value in you enough to the magnitude to be able to take you out on the first date. I personally believe that women should pay more often than men should pay, because if women paid for the first 5 or 10 dates and then there was a commitment that resulted from that, and then the man took over and paid for everything else for the rest of their life, it would at least have some level of balance. But men pay from the first date, from the first time they meet the girl until the day that the guy dies. And then after that, at least here in Western culture, the women inherits the man's estate. So if she looks attractive enough in the street, she can get a free ride in life for the rest of her life, assuming that she comes across the right man with the right quantity of finances. I believe that it should be like an investment, that women should invest in the men. So being 35 years old, and you was out there looking for men that were 40, 45 years old, and they fizzle out, they're going to fizzle out because you're very assertive about what you want, but you're not very considerate about what he wants. And the men tend to walk away from that. Yeah, an affair might have happened from that for a brief period of time, but it's not going to last, because the partner that they're looking for is not what they're getting. They're getting a dictator. And I'm going to be honest with you, as a man, I'm not going to want to be dominated by a woman. I'm not going to be okay with that. I have been more than reasonable when I communicate with women. I don't try to dominate them either. Even though those alpha masculine men are like, men should be on top. My position is that if you respect and value me, then you know where you're supposed to be standing. I should not have to force you to respect me. If I'm not going to get that as a natural instinct from you, I'm not even putting in effort to dominate you, because it's unnecessary. That is a level of controlling that women say, oh, well, you can't tame me. If you can't handle, I ain't trying to handle none of that. Because you got to understand, ladies, when you start making it seem like you're a wild stallion, you know what they used to do to tame them wild stallions? They would chain them up and beat them to submission. Y'all don't want that. They forced them horses to submit. Y'all don't want that. That's that 1945 behavior. Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want men to tame you, because that requires a lot of physical violence. All you have to do is find that your objective blends with his objective well. And just like we talked about last night, that you could simply just utilize his efforts to aid you in higher investments, where your investments are designed for both of y'all to get capital. If that is the case, then you're in a position where you don't have to worry about what he's deciding on, as long as your shares are going where they're supposed to go. But again, I'm going to tell you guys, like right now, even with inflation and tariffs, You got women in the Philippines that will take a $500 or $700 a month salary, and they will move and live with you for 20 years and be the wife that you want. And they may, in fact, fall in love with you based on how well you treat them, but they would be with you as a job. Now, is that any different from the transactional behavior of the women in America? No, but the price is different. The price is way different, because even if you're giving her $700 a month to mail back to her family back home so that they don't got to work, because they don't have to work harder because she was their primary breadwinner, doesn't matter. The money that you're sending back home to her family gives her incentive to stay with you and be the wife that you need her to be 24/7, 365 days a year. Whereas here in America, $700 a month ain't enough money for an obedient and cooperative partner in a female. These women want more than that. Inflative demands. So, yeah, that's going to be an issue at 35 years old, because you only got 5 years left at 35 years old. After that, childbearing is not going to be an option. So if the guy wants kids and you say you're 35 and you're sassy, that's a dead topic right there. Not too many men are going to be okay with that. You have to be cooperative, and more cooperative since you're less valuable. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Someone sent me this, then unmatched as soon as I answered. A guy said, "I'm guessing this is a fake page because someone else has the same photos with another name. Good luck with your scam." I asked him to send me a picture and he unmatched with me. I'm not sure if he's trolling or not, but I'm not sure what to do. This is on Facebook Dating for reference. They don't have photo verification like Tinder. I'm not asking for advice on how to deal with him. He unmatched me anyway and I'm not interested in him. I was the last one to text him. Therefore, he has no reason to be bitter. So that's why I am not sure if he's trolling or how I should investigate if someone is using me as a fake page. This is all weird to me.
Well, luckily, men don't always have to deal with that, but they do that. People do. If you have a reasonably sized photo, they can crop your photo off of a website and use it as their photo on another website. And they can sometimes use your photo on the same website. And this is one of the main reasons why men have it worse off than women in some situations, as far as the dangers of dating, especially online, because we could be baited into a trap thinking that we're going to talk to an adult woman, and this could be a adult man, it could be a child, it could be anybody. And whatever we get caught up in when we show up at that location, that's what we got to deal with, because we decided to show up. We're putting ourselves in great danger by showing up to a random location to meet a photo. This is why a lot of honest men, and I had to think about how to word that, but the honest men are quick to communicate you into either in-person engagement in a public place or video communication, because they want to confirm that you are the photo, because men get catfished a lot. So knowing that your profile photos are allegedly being used on another profile on the platform, I would suggest change your profile photos. Change your profile photos and potentially use a different name there. Long time from Noah. Noah, it's been a while since you've been here.
Work is my network, choose your company wise. Surround
Good to see you,
yourself with
Noah.
eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. That's my personal command.
All we need now is Mr. Satellite to jump in. But good to see you, Noah. Noah, we've got Sarah coming in on Thursday, so make sure that you drop by. We should be starting the show right around 10 o'clock. We should run it for a few hours, at least 1 to 3 hours, because we're going to start at about 10. Central Standard Time, which is 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that's 7 o'clock California time. So we should be starting on time on Thursday. So she's a expert dating coach for men, so she'll be able to give guys advice on women. I know some of you fellas are married, so while she might not necessarily be giving you guys advice on how to pick up another chick, if you've got questions on how to keep a chick after you've gotten your chick, she might have some advice for that as well. So if you got the time, make sure that you swing by on Thursday, because we should have her on the show. Now, I'll let you guys know if she ends up canceling at the last minute, but we've got like 4 days left. And she specifically asked me for May 8th. And I was like, I ain't got shit to do on May 8th. Damn straight you can come through. I'm going to be setting alarm clocks at 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9. I'm going to have so many alarm clocks going off. I'm going to be all right, let me get ready for this show, because all I got to do is just interview her. So make sure that you slide through on Thursday, because we're going to be doing a lot of dating advice with Sarah on the show with her dating coach expertise. I'm going to tell you guys about focusing on finances and wealth and making sure that the person that you're getting actually wants you. She is going to be telling you how to convince the person to accept you. Completely different dynamic. I will not be giving her any negative questions. I'm not going to spin her dynamic in a negative way, but I will make sure that you guys understand that I think that if you've got to put effort into running any kind of OG, triple OG, double game on a female, she is not worth your time on the initial contact. You need to have a female that has shown you her value, and it cannot be sex related. She has to show you her value, which means that whatever skill set that she's presenting to you on the first or second encounter is a skill set that you can benefit from, which is one of the reasons why you're getting with this chick. Because if she does not have anything to bring to your agenda, she does not have anything to bring to the relationship, then you trying to win her over is a waste of your time, effort, and resources. Bagging this chick is not like collecting Pokeballs. You're not just collecting them just to collect them. You have a goal to meet, and you are drafting and recruiting participants to be on your team so that you can reach that goal. You're not looking for anybody who's going to ride the bench or make the situation harder. So that's not my perspective of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one.
I am 21, and my BF is 25. We had a trip planned, and the day before the trip, he stopped messaging me, and then didn't show up the next day to leave. Can you tell me what to do so I don't lose my mind? He's not dead. Okay, so it's been a crazy night. For everyone asking why I had already gone to the cops, it had only been a day and a half. And I live in a very safe place, so I didn't want to overreact. People have always told me I blow stuff up, so I'm very cautious about it now. I know I probably should have gone earlier, though. Anyway, I left my house and tried to find a police station, but all I could find were traffic violation stations. So I called in, even though I have the speech capabilities of an 11-year-old in Chinese, and told them what was going on. There was nice woman on the phone, and she was very helpful and patient, and sent over some officers to meet me and help me. They immediately take my case very seriously, but I still have the problem of not really having much info to give them. They asked if I had a picture of his ID, and I was like, no. And so it took them a long time to find his record in the system. They were ready to go with me to do a house check, but then they got an update on the system and asked if I was okay going with them to the station, and I of course was. So I get there and they asked me a few more questions like, if we were fighting, no we weren't, etc. Then the officers who I'm talking to get a bit nervous, and one types something into his phone and shows me a translation, and it says, "Your boyfriend was arrested 2 days ago." I felt so many emotions and I'm still reeling. I barely slept last night, and I have been worried, sick, and crying all day. And so I'm relieved that he's fine. He's not dead or hurt or sick or in a coma or something. But at the same time he's fucking arrested? I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Quite frankly, they couldn't tell me why he was arrested because the case isn't closed, but they took down my number and said they'd call me. But yeah, I'm so exhausted from this whole ordeal. Since I know people will ask, he's a great guy, a very nice person. He does, however, jaywalk sometimes, and everyone here drives like a lunatic on their electric bikes, including him. But both of those mean you are held in custody until they figure out the case. If it's just a minor thing, he'll be out in a few days and probably pay a fine. If it's something worse, well then maybe I shouldn't be seeing him anyway. Anyway, thanks for everyone who commented and made me feel like I wasn't overreacting or being a crazy girlfriend. I'll update if I ever find out what he did. The more I think about it, he had to have been arrested early on Tuesday. So probably not a fight or anything. Maybe something he was caught on camera for. It turns out bikes, by that I mean electric scooter things, are illegal in this city, so I'm told. And yet I almost get hit by one daily. Jaywalking is illegal. And yet he and everyone else do it all the time. Also, you can get held in custody for very minor things, which is why I haven't blacklisted him quite yet. Like once a guy yelled slurs at a group of my friends and called my black friend the N-word, and the police detained him for 3 days for disturbing the peace.
That's what we need to
Not
do.
saying my boyfriend would do that, but you can get detained for small things.
Okay, so apparently they're in China. What the hell was wrong with you? Y'all done went to China. Your man came up missing for 2 days and you wasn't looking for him on day one. Y'all wasn't fighting, so it's not like he stormed out and you had to let him go cool off. So the fact that he left, he should have told you where he was going and what he was planning on trying to accomplish. Should have took you with him, but the fact that he left without you, he should have been able to tell you where he was going and what he was planning on trying to accomplish. You should have been able to reach out to him after a couple of hours of him being gone. He stops answering the phone. That's when you should get worried. If you've got the kind of man that is that responsible about his shit, you should have the kind of man that doesn't come up missing. So for him not to be findable for 6 hours, 8 hours, he's not at work, y'all are in a different country, there is no reason for him to be missing. You should start right away trying to find out where he's at and what he's doing. Now, clearly this guy was in jail. So if you'd have went down to the local police department and said, hey, you know, I can't find my boyfriend. This is what he looks like. This is his name, blah, blah, squaze. You know, they would be able to tell you which police station he's at. And then you can go during visitation hours and go and visit him. He could tell you what's going on. You might need to get him a lawyer. But, you know, if you're in a country, this is one of the biggest things that I told you guys when Kamala Harris went and grabbed those 23 people from Russia. And I said that she shouldn't have did that. She should have left their ass out there because they was out there smoking weed in Russia, and weed's against the law in Russia. Just because it's legal in America don't mean it's illegal around the world. You can get on an American airplane with cannabis that is authorized by American airspace. But when you take that shit outside of American airspace, you are committing international felonies. So you can go to jail for that nonsense. So you need to know when you're going to a new country, you need to know what the laws are in that country. Like I found out it's against the law to eat on the bus in China or South Korea. Fact is, if ain't nobody else doing it there, when in Rome, do what the Romans do is the old saying. So if everybody else is holding their food and waiting until they get to an appropriate eating facility to eat, then you probably should do the same thing. In America, we eat on the go. We'll be eating on a bus. We'll be eating while driving a bus. We'll be eating while being ran over by the bus and don't really care what's going on. But in other countries, some of that stuff is against jaywalk is against the law in America, but don't nobody care until the police wants to harass you unnecessarily. Then they will come in and use jaywalking as an excuse. But truth is there is no reason for you to be jaywalking in a country where literally no one else is jaywalking. So if everybody if you got a few hundred people using a crosswalk, bro, for some reason, you should be using that crosswalk too. You know, if you're in another location, you should be able to observe your environment, see what everybody else is doing, and mimic that. Likewise, though, she's talking about, oh, well, he didn't do anything serious, and you know, if he did, I would have blacklisted him. Nah, you supposed to be a ride chick. You supposed to be able to be down for whatever. So if I didn't do something stupid, you're supposed to back me up the whole way through. And doing something stupid is not doing something illegal. Doing something stupid is doing something that had no purpose at all. There was no objective at all, and outside of entertainment. Any outcome led to jail. That's not a smart move. But if you was some John Q situations, you know, the Marine situations, if you was like Jason Bourne type of situations, if, you know, Neo Eason, you dealing with some stuff like that, you know, Raymond Reddington, you dealing with some stuff like that, there's a purpose behind what you're doing. So it's not stupid. But if there's no purpose behind it, if it's just for the sake of the thrill, nah, that's stupid. Now, if you're not from this country, y'all not used to these laws, and he just got caught up, and this is the first time he didn't got caught up, don't worry about it. If he continuously gets arrested, then you should have a problem. But if he's not continuously getting arrested, there shouldn't be a problem. And since there shouldn't be a problem, you shouldn't be considering blacklisting your boyfriend. That's just unhealthy relationship. You should be at the police station to make sure that you can get him out sooner. Because if they have the ability to post bail so that you can go to court later, then at least he could be home with you until he goes to court and deals with this before y'all fly out of the country. But to let your man come up missing for 2 days in another country, shit, you was hoping he was dead. Because what the hell? You just let him go? Talking about some people say that I overreact, so I didn't want to overreact. I let my boyfriend come up missing in a different country for 2 days. Sweetheart, you're not going into the other room for 30 minutes and I not coming there and be like, are you still alive? Fuck you mean? You come up missing for 2 days. 2 days. But see, now if we was in America, you'd be trying to smell his junk because he came back from work 15 minutes late because he was stuck in traffic. I don't get it. 2 days. He could have been in a morgue in 2 days. Do you know it takes less than 5 minutes to ultimately lose your life in a slow and painful way, and to allow your partner to be missing in action without attempting to reach them for 1 day? When you are not in an argument, when he didn't storm out because y'all were fighting and you're just giving him time to cool off kind of thing. Y'all was happy and loving and everything was good between y'all, and he just left where he should be intentionally coming home, and he's not coming home, and you're not looking for him. Girl, you fucked up. That's what I'm trying to say. You fucked up. So, but yeah, he out there riding on bicycles and jaywalking and shit, breaking all the laws of the city. Don't think you're going into another country and they're going to treat you like America. The reason why we're free in America is because most people too lazy to enforce laws out here. But when they do enforce the law, they enforce the law outside of your favor. So there is absolutely no reason why we're in a position where you're going to go to another country and not pay attention to whatever their laws are. You need to be asking some of the locals, am I allowed to do this, so that you don't get caught up? Because at least out there, they're honest enough to say, nah, you'll get arrested for that, bro. And even if they're joking, don't do it. Because if they're telling the truth, you don't want to get arrested for that. So especially if 2 or 3 people are like, no, because they know that foreigners don't know all of their laws, but they know that they're not doing it for the same reason that they're telling you not to do it. And you just find you 5 or 7 good locals that'll make sure that you don't break none of the local laws. Get you a tour guide, hire you one of them geisha girls so that they could take you around and not break any other law. Make sure the geisha girl's over the age of 18, so you're not breaking the law just by hiring her, but hire you one of them geisha girls so that they can tell you how to obey those laws. But bro, she left you. She apparently in that country, they don't give you your one phone call. In America, you get to at least call your wife and tell her where you at. He didn't even get a chance to do that. Damn. That's fucked up. All right, guys, that was the last one for today. I really appreciate y'all coming to tonight's show. I want y'all to make sure that y'all come through on Thursday for the relationship topic with Sarah, because Sarah's going to be guest starring. So we're going to be doing a 16:9. So it's going to be a widescreen this time around. So I don't know if I'm going to pop up on your For You page, but we're definitely going to make it do what it do on Thursday. So those of you who are interested in the expert dating coaches coming to the show, make sure that y'all swing by Thursday at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, Monday, we are supposed to be doing some discussions about how the local government's impacting the ability to make, save, spend, and invest money, how your discretionary funds spending power depletes with the way things are changing. And we're going to be talking about different financial opportunities to invest in as well. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be talking about ways to make money and countries to make that money in. Beyond that, I want to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. One of those milestone hits yesterday, because we was operating at almost 400 views an hour, which is real good yesterday. So I really appreciate everybody that came to the show yesterday. Hopefully you guys can flood the scene the way y'all did yesterday, flood the scene on Thursday. And as we are about 75% followership from the fellas, because this is a male-driven podcast from a male's perspective, I greatly appreciate you guys coming to the show, because ladies, y'all can learn something from us too, because money ain't got no gender, and neither does being rich. So come through here and learn how to make money for you. Thank you again for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, as we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Any comments that's thrown up during the outro will be put up on the screen as long as they're appropriate. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not